Hi, I'm Corey Talbot from Hyde Tools, and we're going to show you the proper way to do some scraping. This is an older house. This is in the 1800s. It's a farmhouse out in Connecticut. And we're just going to go through here and try to get off as much of this loose paint as possible before we go ahead and prime it and then set it up for the paint that we'll be doing afterwards. Usually when we're doing this, you should have a process. And what I like to do is I always like to mark where it is that I started. So I'm going to start at this board and kind of work my way down. And the reason I do that is it is pretty easy to forget where you were and where you weren't on a house like this. So we're going to go ahead and do just the close-in areas or the edges where you're going to need a smaller blade. We're going to be using this new tool from Hyde. It has the ability to switch the blade from a 2.5-inch side to a triangle blade. You just can torque that down when you've got it in the side you want it. And what we're going to do here is concentrate on all the edge materials first, and then I'll show you being able to flip that around and what you want to go from that point. So what I like to do is use this up in the areas where you got to get in between things, over in corners. You can see that comes right off. I'm using a carbide blade. This is a carbide tool, and the reason you use carbide is it lasts a lot longer. The problem with it is that if you have any popped nails or anything that's inside the wood here, this is an older home, so a lot of these boards have got nails that are popped out from the moisture content that goes up and down. Turn this around and then screw it back in place. But if you've got those issues with the nails, you've really got to be careful when using a carbide blade, because the blades, even though they last 10 times as long as a carbon blade, they do have a problem with when you hit a nail, they'll chip on you. So you want to make sure that you're in an area where you've got some pretty clean area and all the nails are down first before you use it. And it doesn't matter which way you use the product as long as you're getting all of the loose paint off. And you don't have to press too hard, you're not trying to groove. What you've got in some of these older houses is you've got a cupping that happens within the wood. And that happens either through time or sometimes they do it on purpose. So they'll make blades that are convexed or concave depending on what way the wood is going. And the reason that you want that is if you're using a 2.5-inch blade, nothing in the middle is getting touched. So they'll have a 2-inch blade that's convex, and that allows you to actually match the cupping that you're doing within the wood itself. What we're going to do is I like to go this way. I like the 2.5-inch blade because it just goes a little bit faster. If you just knock it off, everything that's loose, not too much. And then what you do is probably come through with a sander later on and hit the high spots. This board's pretty good. And when you hit the high spots, it's going to go ahead and smooth that out, so you're not going to see that when you paint afterwards, where you've got almost a 3D look to the wood. The other thing this tool does for you, it allows you to, if you want to have close access areas, let's say you can't get in between some areas where you can't get your hand on top, it allows you to take this, swivel it off, and there's a screw on the underneath side here that allows you to take this off of the tool. We've also got on this side, we got the ability to put it onto a pole, keeps you off a ladder in some cases, allows you to put that on there and be able to hit the higher spots as well. So this is the new dual carbide scraper from Hyde that we're using for this product.